John Stossel spoke with Bill O'Reilly about his myth of Christian persecution in America. Let's watch.
So, your take is that religion is not under attack? What is this?
Well, in a few places, that none has something to complain about. But your war on Christianity, you're just a 10-foot-tall crybaby.
I'm crying.
It's not so bad. I mean, no, Christians aren't being killed.
No, not yet.
Well, and not in America, and they're not going to be.
They're verbally being killed.
80. So what?
Well, wait a minute, Stossel. Come on now. You shouldn't be diminished because you believe a certain way. Aren't you outraged by that?
No, I mean, what's diminished? I mean, 83% of the country says they are Christians.
Yeah.
You are the majority. You've won.
Well, it's not a matter of winning. It's a matter of respect. Look, you remember a few years ago when some of the big department stores ordered their employees not to say Merry Christmas. Remember that?
That was dumb, politically correct.
And then we had to bring in a hammer and say...
And you're the hammer and you won.
And we won. Okay.
It's over with. Done.
But, yes, and that went away to a certain extent. But now we have to fight the creches and all of that. But the feeling of the secularists that religion is bad, all right, that it stands in the way of unfettered abortion, that it stands in the way of gay marriage, that it stands in the way of legalized narcotics, and all the things that the secularists want, that hasn't gone away. And they're still on the attack.
Well, I'm a secularist. And I don't want unlimited abortion. I think you paint with too broad a brush. I don't criticize religion. But you don't need to be...
Not all secularists do, but you're not a secular progressive. That's what I should have said. Secular progressives do that.
Well,
go ahead.
A lot of them are nasty people. But you imply that the only way to be moral is to get it from your religion.
No, I don't. I don't make any implication like that at all. I don't criticize atheists. Look, you're an atheist, right? Or an agnostic or what?
Yeah, I'm looking for... God may exist. I don't want to say I'm an atheist. I look for signs.
You look for signs, but you don't really see
pictures
anything.
Of you up there.
No, you live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, so if you think you're going to see signs up there, you're going to be disappointed.
Well, tell me where to look. I want to believe.
Go over to Lourdes. Go over to Lourdes and look, all right? Or go to a place like that. But what I'm trying to tell you is I don't care whether you're confused about the deity or not. That's your right, all right? I don't go after people like, what was that guy, Penn Teller? What was his name? Yeah, you know, if he wants to say that, that's okay. But don't attack religious people and don't say we're bigots because we oppose gay marriage, that we're anti-women because we want some limitations on abortion and don't want tax money. Don't do that. I'm going to fight you if you do that.
And you don't have to fight me. I agree with you, but that's not religious discrimination. That's big government that's trampling on individual rights.
No, that's religious-based discrimination because secular progressives see church-going people as morons, number one, and they've said it, and as opposition to their sacred cows.
But you see us as morons, and you see us as opposition to your sacred cows. That's not discrimination, Bill. Notice, again, it all comes back to the same point we make over and over. These guys always accuse liberals and atheists and that crowd of playing the victim card. Why, you're not always a victim. Stop. Buck up. You're not a victim. But then what do? Every opportunity they get, even when they don't have an opportunity, they make an opportunity and they say, oh, we're the victims. We're being discriminated against. It's so horrible. It's so terrible. I hate it. See, Bill O'Reilly, because he's a conservative and he's very myopic, he views disagreement with him as discrimination and persecution and victimization. So unless you agree with Bill O'Reilly on his Christianity and unless you agree with him on his stance on abortion and on gay marriage, well then, oh my God, you're discriminating against me. So he's allowed to have free reign to talk about whatever the fuck he wants to talk about, but we're not allowed to respond because if we respond and if we say, hey, I disagree with your stance on religion, all of a sudden now it's discrimination. No, discrimination implies what? Some sort of legal issue where, oh, this group is put down by law. So who would really be discriminated against in America? Let me think about it. Gay people, for example, right? He's bashing that idea and trying to say it's the Christians who are discriminated against. Name me a state in which Christians are not allowed to get married to each other. Doesn't exist, does it? I could tell you 29 states where you can be fired for being gay or you could be kicked out of a place of business for being gay. And there are still many states where you can't get married if you're gay. So spare me, every opportunity they get, even when they don't have an opportunity. We're victims, it's terrible. And notice how condescending O'Reilly is. You heard him there. He goes, I don't care if you're confused about the deity. Oh, yes, Bill, you have it all figured out. It's like Bill actively avoids nuance. It's like he's trying to be less intelligent than he is when he says shit like that. Right. You're not confused. Stossel's confused. You have it all figured out. Not only is Christianity right, but also Catholicism is right because that's what you were raised in, and your version of it that you heard when you were a kid happens to be exactly right. I know, you're not confused. You got it all figured out. Everybody else is confused. Of course, Stossel is because he's not a member of your big cult. I get it. And you want to talk about real discrimination? Let's talk about it. Not just gay people, and of course they're discriminated against. How about atheists? He's, Christians are discriminated against. The atheists, they're running wild. Really? They are? I mean, what do they make up? Actual atheists, 3% of America? Non-religious make up 20%, but again, that's still much less than Stossel says 83% are Christian. The number I've read is 76%. But either way, we're a tiny minority here, and atheists are banned from public office in 7 states. He's whining about Christian persecution. Name me a state where Christians are not allowed to run for office. There are none. 7 states, it's on the books that atheists can't run for office. Now, thank goodness we have the Constitution, which basically invalidates those because those are unconstitutional laws, but it's still on the books, and it says something that they haven't given a shit enough to repeal it. That's a wink and a nod to, yeah, this is how we feel about this group of people. Even though these laws aren't valid, it says a little something about them on our law books. And also remember, atheists are less popular than any other group. And that's literal. I mean, when you do opinion polls and you ask people how they feel about atheists, they admit that they conflate atheism with immorality. It's one and the same to them. If somebody says, I'm an atheist, what they hear is, I'm immoral and I don't believe in right and wrong. That's how people think when they hear, oh, somebody's an atheist. Polls show that the American people would rather vote for a lesbian, pot-smoking, philanderer Muslim than an atheist. And all those other things are not popular according to the opinion polls, but what's less popular than those things? Atheists. So please, do a segment about how atheists are discriminated against, not how Christians are discriminated against, because that's all made up. And did you notice the one example he gave? There is this place that changed their policy. You can't say Merry Christmas if you work there. You have to say Happy Holidays. Oh, the horror! How terrible is that? You actually have to be inclusive and not just appeal to only Christians and say Merry Christmas. You have to say Happy Holidays. Oh, my heart breaks. I mean, that's really your example? Now, I'm fine with them saying Merry Christmas. I don't give a fuck. But the idea behind it is be more inclusive. Say Happy Holidays, because some people that come in the store aren't Christian. But to them, it's an outrage. It's all. We need to bend everything in society to be Christian, and if we don't do that, then you're discriminating against me. So in other words, we have the right to shape the world in accordance with our ideology and to force you to be involved with our ideology, and if you don't agree to that, well, then you're discriminating against us. And again, O'Reilly said, this is hilarious that he says it of all people, you shouldn't be diminished for what you believe. Your entire show is based on diminishing liberals and secular people and Muslims and women and black people based on what they believe. Your entire show is solely based on diminishing the other side for what they believe. But again, when we respond to your idiocy, then, I'm being discriminated against because you disagreed with me. He goes, Christians aren't being killed in America yet. This is coming right on the heels of 2 stories from just this week. Unarmed black men being killed by the cops. One of them, the guy was literally running away. The cop just pulled out a gun and killed him. The other one, the guy said, I can't breathe. The cop said, fuck your breath. But what is Bill Cosby. What is Bill O'Reilly concerned about? Well, Bill Cosby is concerned about something else that we won't get into. But Bill O'Reilly is concerned about Christians not being killed, but maybe at some point in the future, which I just made up, they will be killed. What about the killing of the Muslim recently? Is Bill O'Reilly concerned about violence against Muslims in America? The statistics on the increase in hate crimes against Muslims and even Sikhs and Hindus in America post 9/11, it's tremendous. Because all these idiots in middle America, they got darker skin, they must be terrorists. So hate crimes increase dramatically. What about violence against gays and transgender people? Through the roof. Is Bill O'Reilly concerned about the people actually being killed? Nope. Irrelevant. He's concerned about the Christians who are not being killed yet. But what's his response? Right now, they're verbally being killed. Well, on that one, Bill, we have some agreement. Because that's what I just did to your punk ass. But guess what? It's not discrimination. It's called disagreement. So stop crying. Because you can dish it, but you can't take it. Which is why in the long run, we're going to beat you. Because we have the better argument.